Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel. Last time I showed you this prototype of an air-powered arrow shooter that is legally a toy in Germany as it shoots the arrow over the barrel. But this thing really had some flaws. I mean, performance was great, but of course it has no stock, so you cannot really aim it. It also has parts that are not really rated very high in pressure, even though I don't think it's dangerous at all because, you know, a little bit of air that you can pump in by hand. This isn't TNT, you know, it won't shatter a steel barrel or something. There might be a leakage after a while, but that's really the only danger there is. Anyway, I made the next iteration, and that got rid of some of the flaws. And here it is. Meet the homemade post-apocalyptic sniper rifle. Let me show you its features. I removed the puny 150 psi rated ball valve against one that is really rated up to 500 bars. I think that's around 4,300 psi or so. It's really solid. What a thick piece of steel. It's still rubber powered, of course. It has to be for a quicker release. It still has a very simple trigger system, but as you see, it also has a thumb rest now. It features a red dot sight for aiming. It also has a check valve that is rated up to 500 bars. This is also very, very solid, and I don't think that there is any danger that it will break. It also has a dot sight of the stock and a cheek rest so that you can aim comfortably. Yeah, it has a homemade bipod made from a plank of old wood and also a fore handle. So with this, we should be able to test accuracy and also to do some more tests with very high pressure, as high as our pump can go. So for loading it, first what we do is we plug the pump into the check valve, and then we'll make the weapon ready for shooting. Okay. Now we start the pumping, and we're not shooting at full pressure because the thing is that if we would do that, then it is so hard to get the arrows out of the target. So we're just shooting with about 1800 psi for target shooting. Ready to be fired. Okay, shooting distance is about 14 meters, and we're shooting at 1800 psi. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, I would say that is a pretty good group, specifically if you consider that this one was a perfect Robin Hood hit. All right, that kind of grouping, accuracy, check. The Robin Hood hit really destroyed the end of this arrow, also pushed it through and pressed the nail against the stone wall behind the archery mat. Some kind of power. The rubber-operated ball valve really is a big advantage when it comes to power, because you can simply not open this quickly enough with one hand. I tested this with the high-speed camera, recorded at 500 frames per second, and you can see that if I try to open it by hand, I can do it in about 1/10 of a second. But if I open it rubber-operated, and it's far quicker, I can actually open it with the rubber-powered mechanism in 22 milliseconds. So that's about 5 times faster than you can do it by hand. And of course, you have much more control about the shot because this yanking really isn't very good for holding the weapon steady. This really shows the impact. If you open it with rubber, then the ball valve is fully opened as long as the arrow still is on the tube. Whereas if you open it by hand, the arrow is long gone and the ball valve is not even half open. All right, pumped up at 3,500 psi, almost 100 strokes. And we're going to fire it through the chrony, see if that works, into the archery mat. Whoa, it went through, I think. And it's clocked at 84.36 with the 143 gram arrow. That is fast for an arrow that heavy. Hit the target. Flew on right into the old soiled mattress here. All right, the ultimate test. Two zombies standing right behind each other. Let's see if we can make them even deader. 3,500 psi, double coconut shot. I think it worked. All right, through the first coconut, through the gelatin, and then out here through the second coconut. Amazing. 2 dead zombies. Can you see how slimy it is with all that coconut zombie brain? Actually, not bad. So this and this flies about at the same speed when shot from a modern compound crossbow. But this thing here is more than 6 times heavier than this one. So it has a lot more momentum. This means penetration, everything will be a lot better with this one. But the distance, the shooting distance, will be about the same. I would say between 50 and 70 meters is okay. Amazing. This might be the most powerful muscle-operated weapon I've ever shot. Really, really good. And of course it uses rubber, which I like even more. Anyway, what's the next step? Well, I've ordered a compressor because I'm sick of all that pumping. So a compressor that can go up to 300 bars. That's about 4,300 psi. So we'll get a little more power. It's urgently needed. And also I will drive to FX Air Guns in Sweden in October. And I'll try to persuade them to make a commercial product out of this. You know, beautiful looking and all this professional valve system and an air container for like, I don't know, 10-15 shots. But that would be a terrific product. Anyway, if you like blades, that's not it for today because there's a little bonus with a razor that I used. But other than that, I hope you liked it. Thanks and bye-bye. I always liked straight razors, like this one that I inherited from my grandfather. I think just because the blade is so thin and mean that you almost cut yourself just from looking at it. But they have disadvantages. Like as for a fighting knife, it's not suitable since there is no lock and actually this really isn't a handle. It's just a piece of, you know, I don't know, whatever. So, and of course this one I needed to keep as a souvenir and a memory of my grandfather. But I bought another one, really cheap from Amazon, cost me only 15 euros. And then I went to work with it. First I removed the cheapo handle, that is really only thin pieces of steel. And then I replaced the handle with this fixed handle made from steel and mahogany wood. Filed everything so it just is to my liking. And now it's a fixed razor knife that's beautiful to look at, I think. But it's also really dangerous. I love it. Okay, some leftover gelatin. Let's see what happens when I cut the gelatin with this knife. All right. Wow. That cut went through all the way. See? These are the shorter cuts. That is one dangerous knife. And I also made a very simple little sheath for it. That's it. So it's not cutting me when I keep it in my pocket. A professional knife making company like Cold Steel or Böker should really make a few like these. But I also found another interesting knife. Ordered it from Amazon at about 50 euros. It's the Outdoor Edge Caper Light. And it is a little bit like a razor blade because it's hollow ground and it has this thin white blade. And I think the design is really sexy. It also cuts really well into the gelatin. Not just as nice as the razor, but of course it's a lot more sturdy.